Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. What's going on? Happy Lunch and Munch Tuesday. You already know what it is. You now tapped into the most dangerous virtual lunchroom on the planet, the Lunch and Munch meetup. We do this Tuesday, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every single Tuesday. So do us a favor. If you're new here, salute you. Thank you so much for tapping in with us and hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell notification too so you can get notified every single time we go live. And here's what we believe at the Lunch and Munch meetup: that you can't build anything bigger than you build you, right? So on this platform, we are in the business of helping you build the best you possible so you have a firm foundation to build your hopes, your dreams, your goals, your aspirations on, right? So, and we are helping you eliminate all excuses. We don't want you to have any more excuses, right? We want you to be able to be the best you that you could possibly be. So, if you're interested in that, then this is the platform for you. So, listen, bro, what's going on with you, man?
Man, what's going on, bro? Let's get to it, man.
Oh
Let's
yeah.
get to it,
Oh
man.
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We
I'm
got
excited about today.
absolutely positively. Listen, so this is a carryover. We got the one and only, the powerhouse himself, Mr. D1 Gibson, man. Listen, he was on 2 episodes ago and literally taught a masterclass on how to add value and how to build community. And for a creator, he also gave you a blueprint on how to create content that adds value to build your community, right? So in this episode, we're going to delve a little bit further into that. And listen, get your pen, get your pad, and get ready, get ready, get ready. All right, yo, let's go ahead and bring the man in himself.
Come on in here,
D1,
D.
what it do, brother?
My brother, salute, man. How we feeling?
Hey man, we great, brother. Thank you again for tapping in with us, man. I'm telling you, faithful friend you are, my brother. I tell you,
Come
faithful
on,
friend,
man.
yeah, faithful friend
So
you are.
Absolutely.
reason being is because, man, I support the mission, the work, you know what I mean, the vision that you brothers are building, the value, that's the word,
Yeah,
and of the conversation, the value that you consistently offer, man. That is something that I believe wholeheartedly in. So, man, I wouldn't miss it. Is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? This empire that you brothers are building to help, 9 to 5 creators with side hustles that are looking to expand and take things to the next level. That's the language I'm speaking, brother, and the mission that I'm on as well. So any way I can collaborate and contribute, I'm down for it.
we appreciate it, man. We appreciate it. And so, listen, every single time us three get into the building, magical
Yeah,
things happen.
yeah.
Magical things happen. You know what I'm saying? So I expect nothing less from this particular episode. So look, so D1 man, last week, man, you gave us a framework. We wrote it down. We got listen,
Mm,
y'all gonna have to tap into the other episodes, man. We ain't even gonna go deep into that. Y'all gonna go have to catch them other episodes. You're gonna have to catch the recap and D1's first episode. But you laid out a
yeah.
framework, bro, on how to be of value to your
Hmm.
community in order to build that community. You also kind of touched on how when you add value and that's genuinely who you are, then what happens is that that becomes contagious within your community and it becomes
Yeah.
kind of spreads like wildfire and that begins to build out your community. Another thing that you also touched on, bro, and we're gonna delve some more into that this particular episode, is you talked about um you gave a blueprint too on how to create content, right?
Hmm.
And particularly in the social media streets, when we're talking about building community, it's a virtual community, right? Because
Yeah.
especially now with social media and things along those lines, like the how building a community the way that we once knew, it's not that it's different, it's just transitioned over to a new space, right?
Hmm.
And so
Hmm.
creating content is the way that you add value to your virtual community, right?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
in your dealings, and this is one of the ways that you've been able to really, because your content is fire, bro. Like very very
Appreciate it.
very
Appreciate
well
it.
produced. The messages are always on point, right? Very poignant, very clear to the and precise to the point. Creating, what have you seen as far as creating content, man? How have you seen, has that been something that has held people back? And if so, talk about the psychology of creating content and how people can get started if they have any apprehension to getting started.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, I love the question, Pop, because it really speaks to what you said at the top of this episode, right? You can't build anything bigger than how you build yourself or what you build yourself into being, right? There's a saying that often share with many people that I coach and many people in my community, where I highlight the fact that your level of success will never exceed your level of personal development, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because success is something that we attract by the person that we become, right? So it's a matter of us evolving, developing, growing, and improving. And a part of that is really giving ourselves permission to go deep within, doing that inner work, but nonetheless unleashing what makes us special and unique. And to kind of tie it all together with your question, I think this is where many people are challenged, man. I mean,
Mm.
like Dwayne, like offline, off video, we were talking about how, man, we are in a world and in a space where we get to be inspired by people that are gifted, talented, they have unique abilities, they're proficient in different areas, right? They have all these amazing things about them. Even the people that aren't even posting anything, everybody has something special. But nonetheless, what often gets in the way of those people that have these unique abilities, have these great skill sets, have a knowledge base that can add value to other people on the receiving end, what gets in the way from them unleashing that content is not that they don't have the best camera, the best microphone. It's not that they don't have a team that's supporting them and helping them push this content out. But really, man, when you boil it down, if you're honest with yourself, really the only thing that's stopping you is you, right?
Mm. Whoa, whoa, whoa,
That's
whoa,
the
whoa.
only thing that's in your way
Say it
is
again.
you.
Say it
The
again.
only the only thing that's stopping, I'm talking to that creator right now. I'm talking to that person that's building something right now. I'm talking to that person that has a podcast idea. That person that wants to do live stream, that person wants to create content, whether it's in a video format, whether it's getting on Clubhouse and having conversations and really sharing your expertise. The only thing that's stopping you is you, right? It goes back to that old saying, man, do what you can with what you have, using what you have and where you are now. You got to embrace where you are now and unleash it, right?
Yeah.
And what often happens is, man, we get caught up and really scrolling through our timelines, looking through our news feeds, and then we see somebody that in some cases they inspire us. We're intrigued by what they do, but then we begin to compare and contrast ourselves with this person, and then we feel as if we don't measure up, right? I can never do it that way. I don't have what they have. right? I don't have all the gear that they have, right? I'm comparing my chapter 1 to somebody else's chapter 15. You know
Mm,
what I mean?
mm,
And you're doing yourself a disservice, right? Not only you, but the people that you've been destined to serve, simply because you're falling in the comparison trap. What we have to do, and we can dive deeper into this, brothers, but what we have to do is this, man. You got to give yourself permission to be you,
yeah,
right?
yeah, that's
And what
facts.
I mean by giving yourself permission to be you is, man, you got to embrace everything that makes you you.
Mm,
I can never be you, Pop. I can never create content in the manner in which you create it. In the same way that Dwayne, I do what you do, right? I can put on the white, the white paint on my face,
yeah,
and then go out and then attempt to do a miming video and really express my emotions through dance, right? But I'm not going to be able to do it like you, because that wasn't the gift that I was given, right? I stay in my lane. I've identified my lane. I embrace my lane. In fact, I'm going to own my lane. But
mm,
most importantly, I'm going to give myself permission to step boldly into it. And that's the biggest and the challenging and the most difficult step that we have to take. You have to be willing to give yourself permission to do it, right?
mm.
To do it. Nonetheless, you're going to make some mistakes, right? Like when you go on the live stream, maybe you're going to stumble over your words. Maybe you won't say things in the same way that you plan to, right? Maybe it's only one person that shows up. But if it's only one person that shows up, that's enough. Because if you can change one person's perspective, you can help them see life differently. If you can add value to that one person, job well done. Mission accomplished. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
The task has been fulfilled. Because nonetheless, as you guys are talking about this virtual community, what happens is that one person tells somebody else, and you got two people that come in. Those two people invite other people, and then before you know it, you create this domino effect because you're consistently adding value. But most importantly, you gave yourself permission to do it, to make those mistakes, to learn from those mistakes, to go after that vision, to go through the certain nuances that you have to navigate through to master your craft and deliver your message. And like you said, Pop, a very a very direct and intentional manner,
yeah,
so that the person on the receiving end can benefit from what you're creating. I know we kind of talked about a lot in that,
yeah,
but nonetheless, what I'm saying is, man, from a psychological standpoint, we have to understand what's at play here. And we can come up with so many excuses, right? So many excuses as to why we're not taking action. And when we really boil it down and you really get to the root of it, the only thing that's stopping you is you.
Ooh, oh boy, I told you, I told you. Listen, D1, bro. I I've coached people. I talk to people who are the epitome of what you just described. And truth be told,
Mm-hmm.
we all deal with that at some level of our journey.
Yeah,
When we were
yeah.
starting, we all deal with it. So this is not in any way, shape, or form going to be a bash session. But the truth remains that at the end of the day, we stand in our way. And I think D1, and I would love for you to speak to this too, bro. I know that I felt as if I needed to be at Z before I could even start teaching. I felt as if I had to have it all. I had to have all the information. I had to have all the knowledge, all the resources before I even begun to start. And
Right.
shout out to my mentor, my coach, Marcus Y. Rosion. He was like, nah, bro. He's like, if you at B, there's still people at A. And all you have
Mm-hmm.
to do, if you've mastered A in order to graduate to B, then that means that you have tools that the people at A need in order to transition to B. And the beautiful
Mm-hmm.
thing about it is that if you have mastered A and you're at B and you're working through B, then what happens is that you take people from A to B, and as you're learning, as you are teaching them, you're going to C. You know what I'm saying? Because you're continuing to
Mm-hmm.
learn. What part of imposter syndrome, D1, do you think plays a part in people's unwillingness or I can't say unwillingness because I think people are willing. But what part does imposter syndrome play in them not starting or them standing in their way?
Mm, mm.
D1 and
So
break down.
yeah.
D1 break down what imposter syndrome is for the people that
Mm-hmm.
don't know
Yeah.
before you go into that.
Okay, so to summarize imposter syndrome, right? It's that feeling that we often get. All of us deal with it. All of us have battled with it. You know, even when you're leveling up, when you're doing great and amazing things, there's always going to be that voice in your head that's telling you, "Hey, you don't deserve to be here. You're not good enough. You're incapable. You're insignificant." And all these insecurities begin to replay in your mind, right? You think about your past mistakes, your past failures, the
Mm-hmm.
times you've been rejected, the times that things didn't work out in your favor. And then you feel as if you're less than, you feel inadequate, right? And all of us have experienced those emotions, right? But nonetheless, to answer your question, Pop, man, let me put it to us like this, all right? And this is something that I personally had to overcome. Still to this day, right? To this day, you've got to do that inner work to
Mm-hmm.
continue to level up, right? New levels are going to bring forth new devils. They're always going to show up anytime you're trying to reach new levels and new heights. That resistance is going to try to stop you from doing something amazing. But look at it from a fundamental perspective, okay? What holds us back really putting and placing too much emphasis on what other people think, right?
Say
Like,
that one more
look at
time,
the
bro.
example.
Say that one more
So
time. Say
it's placing and attaching your focus, your attention, and way too much emphasis on what the next man or the next woman is perceiving about what you're doing, who you are, or how you're showing up. You're overly consumed with what other people are thinking, right? Like, Pop, you mentioned, yo, I thought I had to be at point Z before I even got started, right? I
Mm-hmm.
thought I had to touch each and every single one of these bases before I ran to home plate.
Yep.
I thought that I had to have everything figured out, right? Crossed every T, dotted every single I before I took that initial step. All because we're overly consumed, immersing ourselves about what are they going to think when I present this idea? What are they going to say when I put myself out there, right? Like when you create a form of content, here it is, you're proclaiming and declaring to the world, this is who I'm going to be. This is who I'm evolving into. What will other people's opinions be about how I'm showing up and what I'm choosing to do with my life, right? Like at a subconscious level,
Yeah.
these things are really running through our mind and really takes me back, man, to when I first started doing some videos, y'all. Like full transparency moment right here, man. Like I remember, man, like when I first started creating YouTube videos, and I had spoken at a variety of different events. I'm talking about auditoriums with thousands of people. But really, man, when I got face to face with that lens, that camera,
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, man, listen, brothers, I'm trying to tell y'all, man. I remember it was like a video, like a 5 or 6 minute video, man. 5 or 6 minute video. Guess how long it took me to record that joint, y'all?
Yo. Yeah. Hours,
I'm
if
not,
not
not
days.
not even talking about editing. I'm talking about just literally hit the record button, share the concept and the idea, and you're done. How long do you think it took me, man?
Yo. Hours, if not days, bro.
Listen, it took me like 9 hours.
Yo, it be like that.
Not 9 hours to record a
Yo.
5 minute video. But because here's why. This, y'all. Here's why, man. Here's the lesson in this story, right? Like literally, man, Dwayne, I was in my garage. I had it all set up. I had the backdrop, had the lights there. I'm like, okay, cool. I got all the equipment, hitting the record button, stumbling over my words, right? Sit back, go say, oh, I'm looking at, okay, looking at the recording. Okay, I didn't say that correctly. Or, man, I should have used my hands and gestures this way. Man, how do I need to show? You know, my mind is really consumed about what are people perceiving me? Or how are they perceiving me as they're watching this, right? So in my mindset, I'm like, it's got to be perfect.
Yeah.
And literally, I was at war with myself, man. Like, this was before I had any LED lights, right? I'm talking about them old school photography bulbs.
Yeah.
And you know how those work, Pop. Them joints get hot,
Hot,
you
yo.
know? So
Sweating.
I'm in here sweating, you know what I mean? Frustrated. And I'm literally like at war with myself because I'm like, man, D1, like you spoke at massive events full of auditoriums of people, and you can't even get this message across to this camera. And I had to break down what was happening. I'm like, man, David, you too concerned about the person that's gonna be watching this video and what they think. You know what I mean? Like in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, me as a person that's sharing this content, this is the way that I gotta show up.
Yeah.
And what helped me grow and evolve from that, essentially liberated me from that moment and that experience, was me telling myself, you know what, from this day forward, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks or their opinion of who I am and how I show up. What matters most is that I'm true to myself. You know what I mean? That I
Yeah.
can be my authentic self.
Yep.
And when I give myself permission to do that, it's not a challenge to share an idea in the same way that we're having a conversation right now. I'm not thinking about, okay, somebody else's opinion of what I have to do, right? Because at the end of the day, they're going to talk about you whether you're doing something good or doing something bad. So you got to give them something great to talk about. You might as well
That's a fact.
just be you, do you, right?
Yep.
I'm reminded of the old quote that Dr. Seuss once said. He said, those that mind don't matter, and those that matter, they don't mind. So show up as you are, be you. Like that is the step that most people get stopped at, where they think, like you said, Pop, man, I got to have it all together. You know what I mean? I've got to look the part rather than looking like me, rather than being me, rather than doing me,
Yeah.
showing up as my authentic self. And what we fail to miss is this, brothers. It's your authenticity that connects with others. You
That's
see what
it,
I'm
D1.
saying?
That's it.
It's you being you and doing you unapologetically. That's what connects you with the people that you've been destined to serve. The audience and the community that you have been created to build around these ideas that you are sharing, right?
Yeah.
So you're doing yourself as well as your community a disservice by not showing up authentically, by you wrestling in your head and in your mind about how you are presenting yourself rather than saying, I'm going to just be me and do me.
Mm.
And those that rock with it, going to rock with it. You're overly consumed about those that may be rubbed the wrong way or thrown off by who you are and how you're showing up. You know what I mean? So what's really happening is this. You're in a position where you are sacrificing yourself to be liked by others rather than putting yourself in a position to be courageous enough to be you and loving yourself. And it's through you loving you that your authenticity begins to shine and connects with others that are on that same frequency. So I say all that to say, like me in that garage, I'm having this internal conversation with myself and then creating a declaration like, yo, not again.
No more.
Because you got to look at it from a business perspective, right? Like that's inefficient with your time. If it takes me 9 hours to create a 5 minute video, I can't produce. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't effectively get my message out. I'm not going to be effective with the time that I've been presented in order for me to build and scale and take things to the next level. So it goes back to what you're saying, Pop, right? Like you can't build something bigger than what you build within yourself.
Yeah.
Your level of success will rarely exceed your level of personal development. A part of your personal development is giving yourself permission to blossom, to shine, to be you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the step that I believe, man, is holding so many people back. Like there may be somebody right now that's tuning into this broadcast, that's tapping in to this conversation, and you got some great idea that you're sitting on. You know what I mean? Like you
Yeah.
locked and loaded. Like you got idea after idea. You got the concept mapped out. You've shared it with people, but that voice in your head keeps telling you, yo, you need to get this. You need to make sure you get this taken care of before you start. You need to make sure you need to get all these ducks in a row. before you take that initial step and put yourself out there. You got to understand, man, that's your lower self attempting to stop
Mm.
you from doing something amazing. But your higher self, the true you, that's the part of you that's like, man, we got to get busy doing this thing. Tap into that part of you. Tap into that part of you. Again, all of us deal with that imposter syndrome. That voice in your head is always going to be there.
100%.
Your job and responsibility is to turn it down and to amplify that voice that's saying, what could happen if we take that step?
Mm.
What's the positive differences that can occur in our life by us executing?
Man,
What are the great opportunities that we can seize and take advantage of by us taking action in this current moment? Amplify that voice.
turn that one up.
Turn it up
Turn that one up.
to the point that it drowns out that voice that's trying to creep into your mentality. Man, you're not good enough, man. Who do you think you are? That voice is always going to be there. If you ask any iconic leader, any successful entrepreneur, any great entertainer, any musician, vocalist, artist, any great photographer, anybody that's operating in their element and doing something amazing, 9.9 times out of 10, that person is dealing with that voice in their head that's telling them that what they're doing isn't good enough.
Mm.
But what sets them apart is that they don't allow that voice to stop them from taking those steps.
100%.
And because they consistently take steps, they're getting better, they're evolving in their craft, and they're adding value. And that's why you know who they are.
Brother, yo, D1. Yo, wait. Yo, wait. yo, yo, you know, it's crazy. It's crazy. I got a person, it's I heard Bishop Jakes, TD Jakes, he talked about how faith is not the absence of fear. And he said
Mm-hmm.
he said fear, right? He said fear and faith could be in the same car, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
up to you as to who's driving the car.
Mm.
And I was like, yo, that's crazy. And what's freeing about that, D1, to your point, bro, is to know that there's always going to be a level of that fear. It's good, and
Yeah.
I like to call that a healthy fear, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if not, there would not be any push or thrust for you to actually get out there and take that step of faith, right? And I
Yeah.
think I think that's and for me for a long time, man, like I think that's a misunderstanding, right? That you're not faithful if you're fearful, right?
Come on.
or you don't have faith if you have fear. But no. Sometimes that fear is the fuel that you need to fuel that faith. You know what I'm
Come
saying?
on, man.
In,
Come on.
in order to make it happen. And so speaking to your point, D1, and what resonates with my spirit so much about what you're saying, bro, is the fact that you see the camera and the lights and all that in the back now, but bro, I started recording my videos with an iPhone 6 Plus, and I had a big window in my living room that let natural light in, and that was when I started making my videos. That was my lighting source, and that was my camera. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It took me years to get to this stuff, and
Yeah.
not only did it take me years to get to this stuff, but I actually had to learn how to use this stuff because it don't
Mm-hmm.
make no sense to have it if you don't know how to use it anyway, because then you'll use that as an excuse as to why you're not doing it. You got the equipment, but now you don't know how to use the equipment, so then that's another excuse as to why you're not starting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
And thirdly, man, and I kick it over to you, Wayne, is just so I decided I was going to start trying to build my platform on TikTok, right? And Instagram, that's been my bread and butter. I love Instagram. You know what I mean? I'm familiar with Instagram. That's my platform of choice. But I decided I was going to diversify my portfolio, as far as my content platforms, and I was going to get on TikTok. I was going to be more present on YouTube and even
Mm-hmm.
Facebook, right? So I had cleared out my TikTok page altogether, and I recycled some of the content from Instagram. I decided, you know what, I'm gonna do similar to what I'm teaching on Instagram. So I changed my bio on TikTok, all of that, right? I went to YouTube, how you make a TikTok bio, right? And I posted my first video. I posted my first video on TikTok, right? And my first video was how to turn your target audience into followers, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
posted that joint, and that joint went well. It actually did the best of like any video that I've ever posted on TikTok, right? It got almost 800 views, right? And you know, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, that might not be big to somebody, but that was big for me because I've never hit those type of numbers on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know, like I got a bunch of likes, but then do you know someone commented and said, but you only have 91 followers, right? So
Yeah.
I saw that joint, and at first I ain't going front. That joint hit me in my chest. I was like, "Dang, son, yo, they right." You know what I'm saying? they right. Now, mind you, I'm getting hearts that's going crazy, and then this one person comments and says, "Yo, but you only got 91 followers." Now, by the way, I got 100 and I think 7 followers now by the grace of God. Right? I told my kids, I said, "Yo, I'm TikTok famous now, son. Don't mess with me, big." You know what I'm saying? But yo,
Yeah.
but to your point though, D1, that one comment could have been like, "Yo, Dad, he right." So I gotta like either I'm gonna go to another platform, right? Because he's right. I don't got a whole lot of followers here. So who am I to be talking about how to gain followers? And you know what I'm saying, I don't got a large social media following. Or I could have chosen to just keep on posting and not worry about what that person is saying. And what you're talking about, D1, is how
Yeah.
that perception could paralyze you, or if you're not careful, you giving power to somebody else's perception of you can absolutely kill your dream, right? And
Yeah.
kill your goal. And so what you're saying, D1, is giving yourself permission to do what it is that's in your heart to do and what you are skilled to do. That
Yeah.
ultimately is going to win, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's going to win. And then those comments and those perceptions, like at first it hit me in my chest, but then I laughed. I was like, well, and I started to be petty. Because once I got over, hit that 100 and over that 100 threshold, I started to comment back like, not no more. You know what I'm saying? But I was like,
Yeah.
nah,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna leave it alone.
Uh-huh.
But giving yourself permission to be you knowing what your mission is, you knowing what it is the value that you're adding. And what I'm hearing you say too, D1, is that like you are your unique value proposition. It's nobody else. Nobody else is your unique value proposition. Like you are your unique value proposition. You being authentically you is exactly what your community, your potential community, and the people who are going to be following you and supporting your message and your mission, those are the people those are the people that precisely need what it is that you're bringing to the table. So like you said,
Mm.
D1, man, we're doing don't just think about you. Think about the fact that all of these people that you're doing a disservice to because you're not being you and because you're
Yeah.
not giving yourself permission to be you. You know what I'm saying?
So
Dwayne,
so
oh, go ahead, bro.
what I was gonna say is this, man. So much to unpack there, right? But I think where viewers can get value in this conversation is really to understand this concept behind being you, doing you, right? Because there's two layers that are at play here. When I say show up as who you truly are, be you, I'm not just talking about being the person that you are in this moment. Follow
Mm,
along with me, okay? But most importantly, what I'm saying is this: being the person that you envision, the person that you see yourself becoming. Be that person, right? And when you give yourself permission to be that person, another layer in that concept is this: it doesn't matter what other people say about who you are or what you're capable of, because you're not even focused on the left or to the right. Your mind is focused straight ahead on evolving into that person,
yeah.
becoming that person, right? So that's something that often holds many people up, that often stops many people from expressing themselves, putting an idea out there, sharing some form of content, because in the back of their mind, they're worried and concerned about, and I may get a troll that comes in.
Mm,
I may get somebody in the comment section that's talking sideways. And like you mentioned, right? We as human beings have this negativity bias, even though you got all these likes, even though you got all these people commenting and supporting what you're putting out, that one person that puts out that negative content
Yeah.
is like that sore thumb that sticks out,
That's
has
right.
grabbed your attention, and that's all you focused on, right?
Yeah.
But you got to get to the point, right, where your mind is just focused on adding value and becoming that person that you envision. Because nonetheless, man, there's always going to be hecklers in the stands.
Yeah.
But the thing about the hecklers is this: they're on the sidelines
That's right. That's right.
during the game. You can't put any points on the board when you're standing on the sidelines. I say that to say this. Typically, people that are talking about somebody aren't doing better than the person that they're talking about
That's a
because they
fact.
got a lot of time on their hands to critique, to criticize, to downplay, to talk crazy and sideways towards somebody. They don't have that time, and they're not directing that time towards building something of value, right? So you got to keep that in mind as you're creating content, because it's amazing that you bring that topic up, Pop, because my wife, she was just sharing with me, we were talking about this just the other day. I had forgotten about it, right? Because nonetheless, you stay focused on what you're doing and what you're building. Like, I created this video, and somebody in the comment section said something crazy. It was something to the nature of, he was like, "Man, I could have found better information than this, just googling something or something like that," right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And all I did was I commented below and said, "Man, listen, I hope you heal from whatever's hurting you."
Hmm.
You know what I mean? I said,
Yeah.
"I wish you well on your journey." You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And a few hours later, he deleted the comment. I'm thinking he thought about what he did, his actions. Which leads me to another incident, right? And Dwayne, I think you remember this, man. This was a few years back. This was in the Periscope days. Like, we in this live stream, and Pop, man, during Periscope, you talk about trolls. Man,
Mm.
them trolls used to come in. It was like some professional trolls that would just go into broadcast with the attempt to just take over with nonsense. I mean,
Yeah.
putting any and everything in the comment section. I'm in the zone, brother. I'm in a position where I'm serving, I'm adding value, but I kept seeing this troll coming in the comment section, throwing nonsense out there. What most people would do is they just hit that block button. You out, you done. I ain't got to deal with you.
Yeah.
That wasn't necessarily my approach. All I kept doing was letting him do what he's gonna do. Hey, let's stay focused. I saw people in the comments trying to attack him. Like, nah, just stay focused. Stay focused. Guess what happened, Pop? Like, this happened like 2 or 3 days in a row. This is back when I was doing a daily broadcast. It was like on the third day, Dwayne. Like, literally, dude came in and he was like, "Man, I came in to troll you today, but what you saying is some real stuff, man." And he was
Wow.
like, "What you saying is some real stuff." And he was like, "Man, what's your PayPal? And I want to send you some money." I said, "Charge it to the game, man. Pay it forward." You know
Wow.
what I mean? Because that's why I do what I do,
Yeah.
right? Because my mission is to help shift perspectives. His objective and his intention was to come in and bring some nonsense, some negative energy. All I did was focus on me evolving into and who I wanted to become and serving and adding value.
Yeah.
I did that to the point that that overshadowed what he was aiming to do. And before you know it, he conformed to the energy that we were putting out during that broadcast.
That's powerful, bro.
So what I'm saying is this,
Yeah.
man. Don't get caught up, right, in that negativity, because it's gonna be there.
Yes.
What we have to focus on is stimulating that positive energy, adding value, serving others. And before you know it, man, that energy is going to multiply. And you may win over some of those people that's just trying to be funny, right?
Yeah.
Some kid that's out somewhere and is bored is like, "Man, I just want to come and disrupt some stuff." But at the end of the day, they eating, right?
Yeah.
They're getting some gems in this conversation. But the biggest battle that you have to win is that one within,
Yeah.
where you're telling yourself, "Hey, be afraid of what other people are going to say about what you're doing." And that voice puts you in a position where you never put something out. No. Stay focused on being you, doing you. And that goes beyond where you are now. It's about focusing on the person that you're aiming to become and keep your mind locked in on that person.
Yeah.
Again, there's always going to be somebody that's going to have an opinion, but their opinion doesn't have to become your truth. You stay in your truth. You live in your truth. You speak your truth.
Yeah.
And as you continue to operate in your truth, doors are going to continue to open up.
If
You're
you didn't
now
know,
tuned into the most dangerous virtual lunchroom on the planet. The
mm,
Lunch and Munch
Come
meetup.
on.
We do this every single Tuesday,
Come on.
12:30 EST.
that's
I mean,
right.
guys, I don't know what you came for today, but it was a lot said. And just know, man, what you think might be a challenging time could be life changing to somebody else. Your ashes could be beautiful for somebody else. What you're experiencing, the turmoil you might be going through in the mix of creating could very well change somebody else's life. You never know. D1, I remember when I was doing Periscope, I would have a lamp on one side of the room and a lamp on the
Mm-hmm.
other
I
side,
remember that. I
right?
remember that.
But but the beautiful thing, man, people would hit me up and say, "Man, I love those shadows. It looked like it's three people." I never looked at it like that.
Mm,
So you never know when you take those moments. It doesn't have to be super pretty to everybody, as long as it looks good to you and you working with what you have. You never know
Mm-hmm.
what to come for that. So don't devalue yourself because you don't
Mm-hmm.
think you got it all together. Don't devalue. I promise you, it'll be beauty behind all that pain, that perseverance,
yeah.
that tiredness, them 9 hours. It's some beauty behind it all. D1, we
Mm-hmm.
appreciate you, man.
100%, bro.
For sure.
100%, man. Listen, man. We were supposed to be talking about creating content, y'all, but I'm so glad that the spirit moved the conversation in the way that it is because I think this is foundational before you can even start creating. Like this right here
Mm-hmm.
is, as you said, D1 at the top of the show, this is the psychology behind even beginning to be able to create content that's of
Yeah.
value to people. This is the
Yeah.
me work that has to start. This is step one. This is
Mm-hmm.
step one, right? And I'm so glad that we broke this down foundationally, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I think
Yeah.
this is going to be freeing to a lot to the viewers, and I think y'all let us know what y'all feel in the comments because we really want to hear from you because we want to know if this was a breakthrough for you because I know where I was, me coming across this right here would definitely have illuminated my path for sure. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right. Right.
Because
Right.
as we talked about, man, and I think and I love the fact because and here's the thing, man, like you hear a lot of people in our space. I mean, we you know what I mean. We in social media. We running businesses. We got all types of things going on, and we hear what the so quote unquote gurus are saying. And a lot of this stuff is, oh, just do it, just do it, just do it, just do it, just do it. You know what I'm saying? Like no
Yeah.
excuses. You know what I'm saying? You got to grind. You got to this. But like you said earlier, Wayne, like, but ain't nobody really talking about the fact that there literally may be stuff that's just blocking you from starting. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
In your own mental, in like there is layers to you that you haven't grown from or healed from. And those things are hindrances from you to actually start, right? And
Yeah.
so then, but when you hear you got to start, no excuse, that's not, you know what I'm saying? Like when you hear that,
Mm-hmm.
that beat up session, right? Then that makes you feel like, oh man, like maybe I should be doing, but you can't do. So now or you feel as if you can't do. So that kind of makes you kind of, digress even more. You get even more
Mm-hmm.
into your shell because you feel as if you like this shouldn't be an issue that you're dealing with, but for whatever reason you can't do it, and somebody's telling you should be doing it, and they're telling you that the reason why you're not doing it is because you're making excuses. But in actuality, you may
Mm-hmm.
not be making excuses. There might just be some legit stuff that you just got to work through for you before you could really start showing up and adding value, but we're telling you that you have value, right? And I'm glad that we didn't stay surface with this, man, but we got all the way down to the root. And yeah, we want to hear from y'all in the comments, man. So D1, man, before we close out, any last words that you want to share with the folks? Let them know where they can find you and everything like that. And and we gonna call this another epic one, brother.
Yeah, for sure, man. I mean, for those that aren't connected, be sure to tap in at D1 Gibson, all platforms. That's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I'm on TikTok as well. Don't necessarily use that platform as much, but at D1 Gibson is my handle. The easiest way to really connect and connect on all platforms and all other information as far as what I do, as far as coaching and then all the personal development content that I create is at elevationis a must.com. So tap into that. I guess the final words is essentially, man, just, as cliche as it sounds, get out of your own way, right? Again, at the top of this conversation, we talked about understanding that the only thing that is getting in your way is truly you, right? A lot of times it can be our insecurities and limiting beliefs that's often pointing the finger and saying, hey, this is why you shouldn't take action because you don't have this, you don't have that, you're not ready for this, you're not on that level. But at the end of the day, man, when you slice it down and get to the root of it, it's not anything that's outside of your window. It's really just the person that you see in the mirror. Connect with that person. Do that inner work. Like you mentioned, Pop. Really go within and identify what's hindering you from executing. Really go, like, get face to face with yourself and ask yourself questions like, what beliefs do I have about myself that's stopping me from creating? What are my views about what I'm capable of that's hindering me from moving forward? What limiting beliefs are operating on a subconscious level that's really stunting my growth and my progress? Really good, like, get face to face with yourself and call yourself out. This is what we call self accountability. It's about self leadership, right? Connecting within to discover how you can grow and improve. Disconnecting from yesterday. You're not going to win this battle by fighting old, by fighting yesterday's mentality, by fighting yesterday's beliefs. It's about building tomorrow's new vision, building tomorrow's new mindset, building tomorrow's new levels. And that starts from within.
D1, we appreciate you, bro. We appreciate
For
you. Listen,
sure.
y'all tap in to D1. All of his information, we'll leave it here in the description for this particular show, so y'all can definitely tap in with him. If y'all think he dropping game now, listen, y'all, you need to tap in with this brother. Again, it's always a beautiful occasion. You know what I'm saying? You could have been anywhere in the world, but you here on the Luncheon Munch. You pulled up on us, man. We truly appreciate you, man. And I'm sure this won't be the last. I'm sure this won't
No
be the
doubt.
last, bro. You know what I'm saying? So
We got
listen,
one. We got another one loading. We got another one loading.
let's go. Let's go. Say less. But bro, we appreciate you, man. We salute you. And listen, y'all tap in with
Number
my
love.
bro. Y'all tap in with my bro. And there it is. You done tapped into the most dangerous virtual lunchroom on the planet, the Luncheon Much Meetup. We do this 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every single Tuesday, and we don't call ourselves the most dangerous lunchroom for no reason. You see it. So look, we want to hear from you. We want you to tap in the comments. Let's have a conversation. Let us know what stood out to you. Let us know what resonated with you. If you had a breakthrough in any way, shape, or form, we want to hear about it. We're also going to drop our Instagram handle as well, so you could always DM us as well if you want, or we can carry the conversation on Instagram. Whatever it is, we want to hear from you because we think I feel this one in my spirit that this one right here is going to be liberating for a lot of you. So listen,
Yeah.
we want to hear from you. We want to talk about it. And we want to build it out. We're going to have D1. He going to come back again. So you most certainly want to tell a friend to pull up to the meetup. Wayne, what's up,
Man,
bro? Talk to me to close us out, bro.
no, man. I mean, D1 said it all. I'm at a loss for words. This tonight's episode was game changing. It's
100%.
game changing for any person that just wants to create. And then it's even, man, a reality check. Just be you.
Yeah.
Just be you.
Yep. Yep.
Get
Just be
all the
you.
noise out. Stop worrying about what they doing and just be you.
That's it. Well, there you have it. There you have it. We love y'all to absolute life. Without y'all, there's no Lunch and Munch meetup. So we appreciate y'all pulling up on us. We appreciate the support. We appreciate the love. So while you're in a loving mood, if you can go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification. If you're new to us, we salute you. Welcome to the family. And we just going to keep on hitting y'all with value because that's what we believe in. So we love y'all to absolute life. There's nothing y'all can do about it. We're going to check y'all next week. Peace.